Speaking of, we have the Gator Gamer, Brian Holloman. Brian Holloman has announced his retirement. He says, "Thank you all for the support over the years. I will be going on an indefinite hiatus and graduating on August 15th. This will not impact the anime boomers, which will continue as normal. Let's go out with a bang, Space Cowboys." Let's read his retirement message. He has a little AI generated Gator Kun on the left. It says, "Announcement. First, I'd like to thank you all for the many years of support. Whether you remember me from the Internet Blood Sports, Gator Time, the Weeb Wars, Anime Boomers, Selen Tatsuki coverage, or my many guest appearances across the decade plus, I can never fully repay the kindness and love I have received over the years." I think that's about Tree Fitty. If you add it all up. It is with a heavy heart that I announce I must be going on indefinite hiatus, ceasing activities and graduating as Gator and the TheGatorGamer as of April 15th. On that date, the channel Gator Time will close on YouTube and other platforms. The Final Fantasy 8 or 7 Rebirth playthrough will continue until that time. No further live or video content will be produced on Gator Time after August 15th. This will not impact the show Anime Boomers, which will continue to air as normal every other week. The X account, the TheGatorGamer, will remain, but will be retooled as a general purpose account to promote the show and other creators we enjoy. Although this has been in the works for a while, I plan to graduate in the winter to more fanfare, including a farewell stream. But while I cannot elaborate further, recent events have necessitated making this announcement sooner out of caution for me and others' personal safety, and to prevent such circumstances from potentially impacting other plans. My passion for VTubing has not ended, but this is an important first step in a larger journey, and I can't take Gator there with me. Gator will always remain a piece of who I am. This is not a joke, by the way. I'll get to this. Um, and a special place in my heart as the character I've held on to for the longest. But he overstayed his welcome. I am not the same person I was in 2014. It is time for the old boomer to retire. This isn't goodbye, it's a see you later. I would have liked to spend more time with you as Gator, but as I have a different journey ahead, I pray that fate will see us together once again, in some other time, in some other space. All ends are new beginnings. Per Audacia ad astra Gator. Okay, so in case you're wondering, this is a reference to VTuber graduation messages. If you don't know, if graduating is idol industry slang that predates VTubers. Basically, in the idol industry, which is Korea, you don't know what the idol industry is. In Japan and Korea, they pimp out little girls on stage and make them into pop stars. And then when they're old enough to get a hairy bush, they force them into retirement and call that graduating so that they don't have to say that they were fired for turning of age. Um, this has borrowed into the VTuber industry. And so getting fired is not a tearful event of hard feelings. It is instead a happy occasion called graduation, where instead of someone being shit canned for being too old for the pedophile audience, they are instead simply being asked to move on to a new embark in their life. Much like how when high school ends, it's not the end of your life. It is a tearful goodbye as everybody progresses onwards to their adult journeys. It's like that. So he's trying to replicate this, and is I being more sincere than I originally anticipated. I suspected that when I first read this that this was a joke, that he was going to like post this out and be like, "Ha, I'm retiring," and because of the timing with the recent shit where he's been going after me and calling me a pedophile, I'm supposed to take this note and then declare victory that we bullied him into submission and now he's fleeing the internet. That's what I thought initially. However, over time, it's appeared more sincere. The other big thing that made it seem like a joke is that he's not stopping the anime boomers, which is like the only thing he actually fucking does. These videos, by the way, he's been making them like once every 2 weeks for the last 3 years. They get 500 views per video, and his video with Medicare received 6,000 views in 3 years. So not even Medicare being on this fucking podcast can help the charisma vacuum that is the TheGatorGamer see the light of day. Not even light can escape this motherfucker's charisma black hole. So, I strongly suspected that this was a joke. However, I don't think it is anymore. So I'm saving a lot of what I have to say for something I'll announce in a second. Um, but my theory now, my working theory, is that Gator is someone I'm familiar with, and he's always going to be Ethan Ralph's lapdog. And I feel like it's not necessarily that I make fun of all his Oshis, and that when he starts calling me a pedophile, I just pull up his YouTube favorites and find videos of pacifiers sucking children, telling him to take a shower because he stinks. That's very, very, very funny, and I'm sure that irritates him. However, I think what irritates him even more is that when he talks to Kiki Pyong Pyong, and Kiki Pyong Pyong says, "Sorry, Gator, I can't be internet." Oh my god, my computer's trying to shut off. I was talking for so long that my computer tried to commit seppuku. Okay, Kiki Pyong says, "Sorry, Gator, you're like internet blood sports, and you have like a bad vibe, and people hate you. So we can't be friends," and that hurts him way more. So he's going to come back as something else. He's going to try to come back as the anime Aardvark and not be like the GatorGamer anymore, and try to dodge that so he can actually be friends. To be clear, in no world, in no interpretation of this message is Gator getting married, going to school, getting a real job, growing up, moving on with his life, doing anything of interest or note. He's simply trying to dodge the negative association that he has. So, it is interesting, to say the least, that he's doing this, but he intends to continue doing the Anime Boomer podcast, something that I will have more to say on the 26th of this month. I will be streaming with Pay. I'm not sure if Worski will be there. Haven't decided. I think what our plan is right now is that this will be a joint stream between me and the Kino Casino. We'll both air our side of it, and we'll talk about the GatorGamer graduation. I have assigned them homework. I have tasked them to each watch a different episode of the Anime Boomers podcast. And Gator, I've already downloaded all the episodes. Don't even bother. I've already downloaded everything. There's no point struggling. It's going to happen. In case you're wondering, this is an actual fucking chore. These streams are 6 hours long of listening to GatorGamer talk about anime. And that is every bit as painful as it sounds. Even at 2x speed, there's dead air. There's all sorts of jokes where Gator says something stupid and then his co-host doesn't laugh. And then there's just like a literal 15 seconds of dead fucking air. It is awful, fucking awful. And I've tasked both Andy and PPP to watch an episode and to take notes because we're doing homework, and we're gonna have a nice roundtable discussion about what we found in our Anime Boomers podcast episode. And then I have other stuff that I want to do to prepare, because Gator has a long and sordid history where it's like he's been around for so long, but he's so uninteresting, except for a couple nuggets of interesting things happening. He's kind of like a blue cheese, chat. If you may entertain my cheese allegories, Gator is a very bland, tasteless flesh, but inside of him are nuggets of fungus that are quite delectable. So we just gotta get to that, okay? We just have to break that apart and sprinkle it on a salad, chat. So that's my plan with Gator. Regardless of if he's actually graduating the character, like who gives a fuck? We're gonna be making fun of him together. That's the plan.
Thank you for watching this clip. This is the CAC. Remember to like and subscribe.